Welcome, Gordon. Thanks for joining us on Who's Penny this week. How are you today?
I am absolutely awesome. Fantastic. Thank you for having me. What a great way to end the week.
It's a pleasure. Tell us a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about your business.
So my business is called Gordon Jenkins, as in named after me. So it gets a bit funny when the people say, "What's your name?" Gordon Jenkins. What's your business? Gordon Jenkins. But it's about my brand. It's about who I am. So my business is about growth, growth, growth. It's growth orientated. Coaching, speaking. I'm an author. I carry around a little rubber duck called Bamfi in my pocket. And what do I do? And I'm a bit unconventional. The easiest way I explain it is I help ordinary people like me and you to achieve extraordinary, meaningful outcomes every single day with a strong belief that we don't have to conform to society. We grow the way that we want to grow, and people will be naturally attracted to us.
And I've had the experience of having a couple of sessions early on, and
Still talking.
Yes, we are still talking, and it certainly helped me iron out what I was looking for in this space, and it certainly crystallised what for me the answers that I was looking for. What are you seeing currently in the marketplace in business at the moment, given our current conditions?
So I want to put it out there at the moment. I accept that a lot of people are struggling. Okay, and a lot of people are struggling. Where I see in my marketplace at the moment, I see amazing conversations around growth, about doing things differently. I have a very broad and deep niche, which focuses on the psychographic traits of individuals, not sectors. So I talk to a lot of people around a lot of sectors. And I think what COVID has realized is that COVID hasn't caused the problems we've got today.
Yeah.
COVID has identified that in many businesses weren't set up for a major event. And the past ways we were doing things isn't the way to grow going forward. So I'm seeing in the business, I've seen it in the globally, but especially in Australia, I'm seeing a huge amount of innovation, imagination, and creativity, both at individual level, team divisional level, and business level, and in life as well. So let me put this on the table for people listening. Health-wise, it's really, COVID has been absolutely a massive draw on my own personal life because of my wife's illness. Yep. So my business had to continue to grow while looking after the wife. But yeah, I recognize that some people are not doing well, but I do really believe that this will be the only time, not in our generations, but in anyone that is 14 years and above, to make a real difference and determine what they want to do in life.
Do you think, are you seeing challenges that are affecting people now in making decisions?
I think the biggest challenge I see in people is people. That people believe they'll go, oh, when we get out of COVID and we get back to normal. We are not going to get back to normal. COVID has shown that there's normal. So that's one side. One of the other challenges I've seen is leaders in business say, oh, because of COVID, we've been able to do this, this, and this. And my argument is, well, yeah, but you're the same leaders who were stopping this imagination and innovation beforehand. And if we hadn't had COVID, you will still be shackled to the past way of thinking. Your thinking wouldn't have changed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my question to the CEOs is maybe the leadership team, the way you actually taking away the technical ability of people, but that soft skill, that business skills of developing leaders is actually wrong.
And I think in this current climate, it's really forced people to make different decisions because they've needed to. And it just shows how we are adaptable and we can actually make decisions a lot faster than traditionally we have.
So I want to give you an example. So I was speaking to some cafe owners last week, and I know in Melbourne in particular, cafes have been shut down. 3 out of the 5 cafe owners were relieved. And I said to them, I've never seen you more happier. And what COVID has realized is that the business was a day-to-day business. It wasn't a career. This thing about surviving and thriving, they were surviving. And when I asked what their issues were in business, it's cost of employment, bank holiday levies, all this type of stuff. And what COVID realized and made them realize is it's actually not, the strain on themselves personally is not worth it. And then I've asked them the question is, forget what you've done in the past if we were to sit down here, and it's funny, we're actually stood around a cafe. If we're here in 7 years' time, tell me about you as a person. And not one of them said they'd open up a cafe. In fact, none of them said they'd be in hospitality.
Yeah.
What they wanted to do, they said it's realised it's given them the opportunity to get that blank canvas to go, I really wish I would have. Well, instead of wishing you would have, let's start doing it.
It's really opened people's eyes up to what the future actually might look like, as opposed to what it was looking like for them without the impact of what's occurred. It certainly opened up a lot of people's minds.
I think so. You think about my business is growing, and my business continues to grow. One of the things, as you know, Damien, with me, I'm not the best in technology. We talk about funneling and all this type of stuff, and I'm getting all this information coming to every single day about funneling, and I'm going, I just can't do it. I just don't understand it. It's not my skill set. Well, now what's happened is everyone's explaining really, really simply how funneling works. You can do it yourself, or you can employ someone to do it. And when you employ someone to do it, you know exactly what the ROI is.
Yes.
Great. Done it. My LinkedIn, I'm saving myself 4 hours a day on LinkedIn. Right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not taking away from my brand, and I'm not taking away from what I'm doing. So there's great opportunities that have come through. And I think as around the world, we run in economic cycles. If you think about Australia, or back in the early noughties, we had that resource economy in Perth, and everything was going on, and on our side of Australia, things weren't doing well. We've had the technology boom with financial services. This is just another cycle event where we're going to see some economies really start booming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Moving away.
And some of those old type of industries will really reform and change to actually adapt to future situations that will allow them to have a sustainable business at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Last night on TV, Isuzu were advertising the new D-Max truck, a trading truck that's in councils and everything else. Who would have thought in the middle of COVID in Victoria, Isuzu would be launching a new truck? That would be against everything that's conventional about digital marketing and everything we're hearing in the paper.
Yeah.
It's actually the right time to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Gordon, as I like to sort of end our discussions with a couple of different type of questions.
Yeah.
Tell us about a useless talent that you might have.
Oh my God. In the old days back in England, I could hotwire any car in about 10 seconds, but we won't put that on video. I used to be very good at towel whipping.
Towel whipping?
And I could even make someone bleed from a towel whip. Now, I haven't done that for a long time, but I reckon it's one of those, it's like riding a bike, apparently.
Well, very good. And what's an old trend that you'd like to come back?
So this is not so much an old trend, but it's a trend that's, when I say old, it's not back in the 60s. What I'd like people to do right now is be a lot more present with people. So I'm 50 years old. When I was starting off in my career, there was no social media and anything. When actually people sat down and said, how are you doing, Damien? We actually gave them the time and invested in them. And I think what COVID has delivered is we've forgotten about that in the digital world. We're moving so quickly. So I want a trend to come back that every single day we invest in people. When we actually ask people, how are you? Well, we actually do it. And besides that, if flares can come back, then yeah, be all right.
Well, thanks, Gordon, for sharing your useless talent of towel whipping and bringing flares back. So thanks very much, and we'll talk next time.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
See you later.